I'm a traditional therapist. Initially, I worked not in past life regression or in any of the things that I do today. Primarily, I was working in behavior modification. My clients tell me that the spirit world is a place of love, forgiveness, and kindness.
During the workshop, Dean asked for a regression to discover if a past life was contributing to his pain. He regressed quickly into the life of a Roman centurion during the time of a civil war.
Oh boy.
And after the session, this is how he described what happened. I entered the past life at the point of death, where I was being held down by a few of my men. One had his foot on my neck, another a foot on my right arm, and one was standing over me and had just plunged a sword into my groin.
Oh my
Previously,
God.
the one with the sword had cut off my genitals and held them up to me and had said, "You can't do much without these, can you?" He threw them to the ground and stamped on them.
Dude.
During the healing process within the regression.
During the healing process? During the healing process. You're not going to be healing from that process. There is no healing process in this scenario.
Love, forgiveness, and kindness.
Dean was quick to book a personal LBL session to discover his life purpose. In deep hypnosis, he first regressed into a past life, that of a 19th century merchant who had just received disastrous news of the loss of his ship in Africa. Previously, he had signed a business contract, and this news meant that his family business would be taken from him. Drinking heavily in a tavern to console himself, the merchant was set upon by 4 thugs and killed in the ensuing fight. The LBL regression is picked up at the point at which he first meets his spirit guide. Dean. He's asking me if I am ready to learn. Andy.
Are you ready
and what
to
you
learn?
say? Dean. I say yes, because I don't understand. He says that I am here because this is where I am meant to be. And while things may not make sense, I will one day have understanding. This life was to learn that hard work does not always have a reward, that you are not always rewarded for the things you do, and what may seem unfair is just a perception. He's asking me to think about that statement, because he senses I still don't understand. Andy. Ask how you get that.
You gotta ask. ASDS says, imagine signing up for torture before incarnating. Yeah, exactly. I mean, how do you think they pull that one off?
Love, forgiveness, and kindness.
This is part of your learning experience. And, you know, I know it sounds a little harsh, but you'll be all right. And it's just, this is where we're at, and it's your turn to go down. Oh. Just think about the amount of loosh that whole thing produces.
This life was to learn that hard work does not always have a reward, that you are not always rewarded for the things you do. It's worth considering the statement of the spirit guide that hard work and good intent are not always rewarded. From our earthly perspective,
hard work and good intent is not always rewarded. It's not always rewarded. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, so it's like, hey, you've got to come down, and the only way you can learn is through, you know, going through atrocities and committing atrocities. So that good, if you're trying to be good, remember, this is a prime example of how the system cannot be pleased. You cannot please it. This is it. On a platter for everyone to see. Sick.
Love, forgiveness, and kindness.
Seem unfair is just a perception. He's asking me to think about that statement, because he senses I still don't understand. Andy. Ask how you get that understanding. Dean. He's telling me to look at that life and the things that happened. He's showing me my life. Andy, in what sort of way is this being shown to you? Dean, the view is a living room, but I am not in my body. I am watching myself sitting at the table with the contract, and he's asking me to isolate a single point of that evening when I originally signed the business contract, which showed where good intent was rewarded or had a good outcome. Andy, and what do you say? Dean, I'm starting to understand. At the time I was young and looking to please. I was pleased to sign the piece of paper and take possession of a person. My father-in-law was quite happy to bargain for his daughter. Each step along the way and each moment during that evening,
Bargain for
the
his
word
daughter.
seems harsh, but atrocities were committed.
Love, forgiveness, and kindness.
Bargain for
The
his
word
daughter.
seems harsh, but atrocities were committed. Andy,
Yeah, welcome to Earth.
can you explain what atrocities means? Dean,
What?
in the context of my father-in-law trading his daughter for what he perceived was a financial gain through a manipulative contract, it gave him certain controls at certain points in time over my family's company, and ultimately their fortune and hard work. The atrocity is that a human life could be bargained for that. The atrocities that I committed. I was prepared to walk in and enter that contract together with the possession of a human life and not really know the extent of the potential damage I could do to my family.
That contract, I was ready to walk into that contract and didn't know the damage that I would do to my family. See, like, wow. Just to talk about convoluted to the max. And this is just like, just imagine, this is just one example, guys. One example of, he's asking, what are the atrocities? This is one example of the insane atrocities that happen. Not only did he violate somebody and sexually assault them, but he also, had the you-know-what going on with these. So there's no explanation. There's no explaining any of this away in any rational mind. Really, this is an interesting case in and of itself to bring to, like, anyone who wants to just say, like, God is all about love and this and that. I mean, it's a great case to show, because it shows how sick everything is on many levels. How can any rational individual hear this and think that, everything's about love? God loves you. Jesus loves you. Everyone loves you. Your guides, your soul group, your council, everyone loves you. It defies logic. This is one of those cases that, you like, anyone starts explaining the reality. Well, okay, well, check out track 20 off of Michael Newton's Memories of the Afterlife. Then come back and talk to me, or play it right in front of their face. Jesus.
Work. The atrocity is that a human life could be bargained for that. The atrocities that I committed. I was prepared to walk in and enter that contract together with the possession of a human life and not really know the extent of the potential damage I could do to my family, to myself, to the people around me. Also, the family that I was going to create and I hadn't even thought about at the time. But now my signing that paper made my children's life conditional. It made my family's independence cut in half. It signed away people's work, people's livelihoods, and people's lives. And I had no authority to do so. I understand. I understand the message now. From a soul perspective, our earthly decisions and the consequences are seen as learning. Editor's note. There might be some confusion with the listeners over the use of good intent in this case. While taking a man's daughter in a barter arrangement for business advantages is not a good intent on Dean's part in a past life, the author explains that trying to make one's business and personal life successful is good intent from Dean's viewpoint. The larger issue mentioned here is that Hard work and good intent are not always rewarded in the life of anyone. This, of course, is true, because one must consider karmic influences from our deeds over multiple past lives. Because one must consider karmic influences from our deeds over multiple past lives.
Love, forgiveness, and kindness.
Because one must consider karmic influences from our deeds over multiple past lives, and not just our current one. We now move to the point when Dean, accompanied by his spirit guide, is about to meet his soul group, whom he calls his counseling group. Dean: I'm sensing a large room. Andy: describe the room. Dean: it has no walls, no ceiling, and has a table that is carved into the bottom. It has chairs lined up on either side of the table, and at the head is a larger chair, and also at the other end. The chairs are pulled back quite a distance from the table, except for the two at either end. Andy: do you know what this place is? Dean: a counseling room. Andy: what's this plan your spirit guide has referred to? Dean: this is my current life plan. I am asking why I am feeling this fear. Andy: and what are you told? Dean: this is the fear I have felt for so long, and I have felt for many lives. I can sense this mischievous nature that I have sensed before. I've brought fear into this realm, because this is the fear that I have kept on experiencing and using as a crutch and avoiding it at all costs. I brought it in to show how silly it is. Andy:
Silly? Silly? I don't think this is silly. What the hell? What a way to just minimize it all. Wow.
you? Dean:
It's freaking horrific.
my mother. My son. Oh, there's a friend. She is Gloria now. It's my father. Oh, God, that's my wife. That's my wife's ex-boyfriend. That's one side of the table complete. Andy: and the other side? Dean: my grandmother, two of my aunts. There's an ex-colleague of mine. It's Maurice. And there are three that I just don't recognize.
Good old Maurice.
Andy: tell me what happens. Dean: they are all smiling. There is the increasing sense of the mischievous towards me. I say, why can't I catch up?
Wow, so they're trolling.
My mother's saying, we have all been very patient, and you can take as long as you like. While you are learning to take this step, we are off doing other things. It is of no consequence, but we will have to move on. This is the plan that you said would be best suited to bring us all close to you. You wanted us all to be there to touch you, to be close to your life, and in that way you would be able to do it. They really are laughing at me.
Wow.
She is referring to the fact that
Wow. 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 They're all laughing at me. Laughing.
you would be able to do it. They really are laughing at me. She is referring to the fact that so many of my current soul group are close relations, so that they would be there to pop in and pop out of my life as I grew. My aunt just stood up and said, each of us has given you a message in this life. You seem to understand each of these messages, yet you look at the message. Dean nods his head in agreement, and you insist on more. She says I am not going to get any more messages. Andy, do they remind you what those messages are? Dean, they laugh at me again.
Ugh.
My spirit guide says, you know the messages. Why go through this? Andy, what happens next?
Yeah.
Dean,
Why go through this?
one of the souls that I am not familiar with is pushing a jigsaw that is completed and says, solve the puzzle. Andy, what does this...
Wow, talk about some manipulative bullshit. I mean, really. Someone he doesn't know I'm messing with the jigsaw. It's like, oh, figure it out. Figure it out. What's up with this cryptic type of stuff? And then he's being laughed at? Yeah, probably being laughed at because they're trolling him with a life of horrors. And he's committing atrocities, and I mean, it just,
Continue to make fun of me. The puzzle is solved. There are no missing pieces. My spirit guide has told me to make sure that I am well entrenched in my earthly body, as I am not advancing.
Yeah, be well entrenched. Stay, stuck in that human mindset, that human experience, that primal way of looking at things. It'll pay off, I promise. You're so close. You need another like 500,000 lifetimes, but you're getting close.
Andy, and is there something that you have to do? Dean, it is my writing. And particularly, it is the method that I intend to write books they are calling A Back Door into the Subconscious. Andy, tell me a little more about them. Dean, I have all the stories within, and I have the skill to bring the stories out. My goal is to assist in the increasing of awareness, because a lot of energy on Earth is getting stuck, just as I am, by continually looking for the easy way for everything. There is no one shift in awareness that is going to happen. It is a gradual process, and I need to write stories for the people to pick up the awareness.
Gradual, very, very gradual.
So now Dean understands his life
no
purpose
clue.
and its importance. It is interesting to note that this session switched from the soul memories of the events between lives to a real-time interactive review of his current life and his difficulty in engaging his life purpose. This is one of the powerful ways in which LBL regression can help clients. Rather than waiting until the end of the life to have this sort of review, it can take place in the middle of a life. Doing so can bring soul awareness to the conscious mind and accelerate the possibility of soul advancement.
Oh, it can accelerate the possibility of soul advances. What are they going to do? Chop off your toes next?
Love, forgiveness, and kindness.
How many people have written books about reincarnation, have studied regressions with hundreds, if not thousands of people, and never come to the obvious conclusion, reincarnating here hundreds or thousands of times to learn some stupid lesson that they never can seem to learn, or just the nonsense. It's just total nonsense.
I feel that it's important when we're a young person not to know all the mistakes we've made in our past life, because we might be doomed to repeat it in this life. We're given a fresh start with an amnesic block, so we don't remember all the bad stuff where we've made mistakes in our former life. We might be doomed to repeat it in this life. We're given a fresh start with an amnesic block, so we don't remember all the bad stuff where we've made mistakes in our former life. We might be doomed to repeat it in this life. We're given a fresh start with an amnesic block, so we don't remember all the bad stuff where we've made mistakes in our former life. Amnesic block, doomed to repeat it in this life. Amnesic block, doomed to repeat it in this life. Amnesic block, doomed to repeat it in this life. Amnesic block, doomed to repeat it in this life. Amnesic block, doomed to repeat it in this life.